Everywhere. Hello everyone for jumping in. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Wow, you guys are all going crazy on Instagram. Hello everyone on Facebook, on Instagram, and on here on YouTube as well. Loads of you ask me about like advice and value giving and things like that, and it's really kind that you come to me for that when it comes to building a business. But one thing stands out above all, and it's when we get into those conversations with people and they say, are there just some practical steps? It's like, yeah, thanks for the advice. Thanks for the great stuff about building my business and so on. What I need right now, Richard, is just the steps it takes in simply to get me some cash right away. So look, thank you everyone who's jumping in here. This is really important, this one. And what I'm going to share today, I'm going to let everyone kind of jump online at this point, but I'm going to share today the most simplistic process that everyone can do that can generate them customers through direct messenger, through Facebook, through Instagram, whatever it is. The way I've done it, the way my clients have done it as well. And this is simply all about a simple process. You don't come across as scammy. You don't come across as irritating. You don't need to use bots. You don't need to use adverts or anything like that. This is how you can convert people using an intelligent approach that is combined with a simple approach that doesn't require loads of sales ability. And in addition to that, you will have people who want to buy from you. And, this is how really people in the next, in this week, you could generate income from doing this. So this is something you should be all thinking about trying out. All of you jumping online, thanks very much. Normally this is Startup Business Q&A, so it's your questions I'm answering, but there's a bit of a special this week for episode 84. And we're going to focus really clearly on simple process to convert cold people into sales through Messenger. And I've done this many, many times over the years. I don't really do it anymore so much, but it's something I know I can always return to if I had to. This is how I converted early sales, and this is how people, many of my clients have done the same. It requires as well you to have a simple approach that doesn't really rely on much more than the volume approach, and I'll give you a bit more detail on that. Ali, I see all the messages. Thank you very much for sending those on Instagram, and I'm grateful that you're here. So let's get into this. Everyone who's online, thank you very much. Thumbs up if you can hear me okay. I'm across 3 different platforms at the moment, and I would love you to post where you're watching from. So are you, what county are you in, what state, what country even. Bane of Pain, you're back. Hello, nice to see you again on Instagram. And Motive Monsters, good to see you here. Ali Batak, Ali Tabak 93, Foxtone, Devon, Ishmael, Christine, Chris, Ajani, Rufino, Gary, Emerald, and so on. They're all here. Nice to see you. So let's get into it. This is really simple. When it comes to selling to people online through Messenger, the first thing you need to be doing, this is kind of the basics for you. I need you to be really clear on what it is you want to sell them. Okay, so I'm going to just move my microphone so it's a bit closer so you can hopefully hear me. Thumbs up, guys. Can you hear me on Facebook and on YouTube? Can you just give me thumbs up if you can hear it okay? 'Cause I'm using a different mic here. So as long as you know exactly what it is you're selling, is it a course? Is it a program of consulting with someone? Is it, a phone call where you're going to do a strategy session or something like that? The process is shockingly simple, and it requires you to be human with someone. I guarantee every one of you watching can do this, and every one of you can generate income this week doing this properly if you have your proposition in place. It might be a bit different if you work in mergers and acquisitions or you're trying to flip houses, but in principle, generally speaking, digital products, courses, intellectual, sales products and things like that, you can definitely leverage this way. If you're offering a service, this is perfect for you. So Cold traffic as well. These aren't people who love you or in orbit around you. Maybe you've got no content yet or anything like that. Sure, you can build all of that. But job one is simply go to a place where you know there are people who, in terms of demographics as a target audience, are probably reasonably aligned with, with kind of what you're offering. So if I was doing life coaching, I might go on Facebook to a group like a Tony Robbins group or something like that, or something along those lines, and then or Ty Lopez's groups. And on these groups, you'll have loads of people seeing the same kind of things, now into the same kind of world as you. This is where we will get our contacts, and what we want to be doing is making sure that we are getting these contacts in a very careful way. So every day, I used to start with 20. Some people do 10 if you don't have much time, but be consistent. So maybe 5 every day or something like that. But I would suggest 20 new people every day. I'm going to connect with 20 new people a day. So in that Facebook group, say it's Tony Robbins group, and I'm some life coach, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find 20 people in that group that have ideally a few mutual friends with me. Facebook will prefer it if you're joining with mutual friends. It's not going to be quite so much of a what the hell's this person up to? And also the people you're reaching out to will be like, you know, who are you otherwise? So it makes sense to go for people who are mutual friends with you. In addition, you can simply look at people who are engaging in the group. They are the straightforward ones to approach. It's as simple as this. No need for bots or kind of written templates for the first message. The first message you send is, hey, John. So first name, don't copy and paste stuff. Hey, John, or whatever. Saw you were in the group. Hope you don't mind connecting, or saw the post you put today. I loved it. How are you? That's all it is. Okay. And then I simply click on add friend. Okay. 20 times in a day. That's all I'm doing. Now, what happens with that is of 20 people, 10 will ignore you. Okay. Of the remaining 10, 5 will just simply accept your request and ignore you. The remaining 5, 3 might say, hey, bro, thanks so much. 2 will engage back and say, oh, yeah, thanks so much. Really interested in speaking to you. Or yeah, I loved putting that post out. Or it's a great group, isn't it? One of those people might be someone we end up doing something with, but it's about the numbers game to begin with. Now, those that engage with you, and engage is literally anything, what you understand is that they are cold. What's meant, I'm looking over here because I'm just checking that there are messages coming through from Facebook as well. There's cold traffic here. So these people, you've got to understand, you have to earn the right to ask them if they want to buy something for you. So to ask them right away is stupidity. Now, in a slightly shorter version of finding a partner for your life, then getting together with someone, okay, and then moving to a place where you understand them well enough, you fall in love with them and you get married to them, you can see there's a process. That's what we need to do here in a shorter space of time. Some people it will be 15 minutes, some people 5 days, some people a month, and so on. But every day we're going to ask 20 new people to get in touch with us. Or to connect with us. Now, the thing is, when someone responds, what we want to do is 2 very, very important things. We want to engage and relate. So if you write it in notes, you want to engage and relate. Okay, thumbs up if these things make sense. Engage means speaking to them or engaging with them, and ideally that's about them. When that person shares or talks about themselves, we're going to relate. And what relating means, really simply, is that we're going to share how we understand and get their world as well. So that's not being contrived. But if someone's like, oh yeah, I work in this world and this is the thing I'm into, and you say, that sounds cool, I've done that as well. Or if you haven't, don't ever lie, there's no need. I know someone who's done that. Or if you really can't think of anyone, what's that like? And what we're trying to do here is promote conversation. That's all. Show an interest. Don't be too awe-inspired or awestruck, rather. Just create conversation. And what we're looking for is to understand a little bit about that person. Now, this is the scenario that I'm some life coach, for instance. If I want to get to a position where I can start positioning this person to close, I need to demonstrate that I can bring value. What this means is as we start this conversation going, I need to move to a place where I start offering some advice very gently, very carefully. 3 types of people that you engage with will respond, okay? One type of person is an expert already. That's like me offering advice or guidance to Gary Vaynerchuk on social media. You might be like, I'm good, man, don't worry about it. Or I just get it, I realize straight away that he's a bit of an expert. I kind of leave him to it, but hey, what a great connection to have made. The second type of person is a peer. That's someone on your level. That's someone where you're throwing ideas at each other and actually they're not going, oh my God, that's really great. Or, and these are the crucial bits we'll come back to in a sec. They're not saying things like, I never looked at it that way. Or, wow, it means so much to me that you're spending this time helping me out. They're just simply like, yeah, I know what you mean. And I've found that too. And it's just that normal conversation. You're on exactly the same level. That's a peer. They probably know as much as you do. You're in the same kind of box. And look, they're a friend you might end up kind of working with or something like that. Then the third set are the people who are impressed with what you have to offer. These are the people who might look up to you and say, hey, I mean, this is great. And like I said a moment ago, they might be saying, you know what? I've never thought of it that way. I never saw it like that. That's a really good idea, those kind of things, okay? Now, what we're looking for is to get to what's called a Q, C-U-E, a Q. And a Q is that person giving us a compliment of some kind. The way you generate compliments through conversations with cold traffic is you just have a normal conversation. Now, you have a normal conversation and the agenda you have is just help without agenda, okay? At least outwardly, that's how it should look. It should be you're just trying to help people, simple as that. Now, the more you help this person, the more you can offer them advice and give them some tips and genuinely try your very best to help them out. Do not try and close them, just try and help them out. This may be, like I said earlier, this might be a 15-minute process of intense messaging. It might just be that this person takes time. But if you've got that conversation going, you're going to keep doing it. Now, the idea behind this is as you keep talking to that person and you start sharing bits of advice, if they're one of those 3 that thinks you're very valuable and you're really helping them, they will give you a compliment. When it's like, wow, that was really great, that is your cue to move to your next step. For those of you that are nervous or a little less confident because it's your first time doing this kind of thing, go for 2 cues. 2 is enough, but go for 2 cues. That might be then you provide more value, you give them some more tips. You really, you fire over some links to a great website or an article you've written, or you record a video message and just fire it over to them. It's like, this is really what I feel, man. And I'll connect you with this person. Give and give and give and give. You may well move to that second compliment. But when you've got 1, and definitely when you've got 2, that's when you've earned the right to then ask. Okay, it's as simple as that. That's when you've earned the right as for instance, in this scenario, a life coach to say, do you know what? I really feel I can help here. And they'll of course be saying, yes, it's been really valuable, thank you. Or like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've not even talked about you. Or, I mean, I haven't asked anything about you yet. That's the point when you say, why don't we hop on a call? And if they're like, yeah, sure, press call straight away, jump in and see it and just get on the call. And then you're on your strategy call when you can start closing that person. But it's essential you jump then rather than go, oh my God, I wonder how it will go. Maybe we should schedule something. No, press call now and just start it. I was like, it's true, I was like a rabid dog when I was doing this. I'd have 20 chat room windows open. I'd be alt tabbing around pages, and I'd be like, just make sure you write the correct message in the correct box. And I was really working hard to kind of juggle all of these different conversations. But what happened is that by doing that every day, and I did this for about 2 months every day, so 20 conversations a day, I couldn't miss, because ultimately I got to a point where I learned quickly what stuff worked and what stuff didn't. And I worked quickly worked out quickly what people were keen and what ones weren't. And look, I had so many conversations coming through. Just look at it this way. Let's imagine you're completely fresh at this. 20 new connections a day, mutual contacts who are in a similar group, and some of them are interesting to you. Some are maybe they're just too much of an expert, but some are definitely really digging you. 20 a day is 600 in a month. 600 new contacts in a month. In a year, if you wanted to go that crazy, it's 7,200 contacts. I did it for 2 months. That's 1,200 people every single day, including Sundays, including when I went to weddings, including on my birthday, including whatever. I found the time to create 20 new conversations. What happened was, by having so much time, intense amount of time in the trenches having conversations with people, I couldn't help getting some to a point where they're like, yeah, let's do this call, or hey, I love the idea of that event you're running, or I love the idea of this course, yeah, I'll jump on it. But the idea is you get them to a place where they're quite impressed with you. The conversation about them, starting with, I noticed that thing you wrote, or I love that you do this, saw it in your profile. The great thing about Facebook profiles or Instagram profiles or web links or whatever is that they all share information in bios about that person. So you can use that information. That conversation starter moves you to a place where there's receptivity, and with the right person, and so rather than an expert or a peer, it's people who can really learn from you. Those guys are really going to be impressed because you have something to offer. And the fact is, it's sad, right? It's sad, but it's unique in 2018 to help people seemingly with no agenda. Okay, it's unique. And it's sad because what a world it would be in if we all helped each other all the time. I genuinely mean it without trying to be cheesy. And in fact, I posted this once a while back. I said, imagine if helping was a currency. Because it kind of is, right? It kind of is. Because if you're helping people, it converts eventually into some people saying, do you know what? That's really useful. I never looked at it like that. Well, would you like to explore? I would write what it would look like having a quick phone call or learning a bit more. Yes. And some people will say no. Understand this, the greatest salespeople in the world. And I'm sure there are people better at selling than me, but I've done it for 17 years. It's been my profession. And I go and coach. I'm going to 4 different businesses in the next 3 days in London to coach people on that. One's a £17 million business. One's a £120 million business. One's part of a £560 million group. And one guy works with the government. But those 4 organizations are using me for some of my sales experience. But the point is that even without that, just having conversations can move you to a place where someone's going to say, do you know what? That's really valuable. And you can say, would you like to explore having a quick call or learn a bit more about this? And I was going to say that no matter how great you are at selling, you'll always get rejection. It's just part of it. I was at a business 2 weeks ago. Their top guy closes 1 in 3 phone calls. These are cold phone calls. That's how good he is. He prepares and everything. And he makes like 100 grand a month. I think it was like 108,000 quid he made in January. Even he misses 2 times out of 3. That's outrageously good. But you know, that's the fact. So it's part of your game. You've got to understand it, that you're not always going to get a yes. But do enough people, speak to enough people each day, combined, this is the algorithm, combined with making sure you're coming across as a decent guy or lady or woman rather, that who's keen in actually helping people genuinely as the outward kind of way you're working. Look, some people will be cynics. Some people will be like, look, you're just trying to close me. Do you know what? That's good feedback. That means I'm maybe coming on too strong. If you're a bit nervous, you feel like you're getting pushed back, go for that second compliment. Go for that second moment in the conversation when they say to you, that's, you know, oh man, I feel really bad. You've been messaging me, you must be so busy, and you give me so much great advice. You've got to strike there. And that's the point where you just try it. This is why you have 20 shots a day. You just try it. You say to them, how about if we just hop on a call then? I know I can. I remember I would write things like, I know I can help you. Let's just hop on a call. What do you say? Yeah, that sounds good. Cool, go. And some people like just shit themselves and run away. Some people just answer the call. Then you're on a call. Then you get to just have a bit more discussion, do the same thing. Then you say, and if you're nervous still, maybe I'm a life coach and I started today. And I said, and I'm nervous about asking for money. And I say, do you know what? All I'm looking for is testimonials to start my new website, because you probably are, right? Then you just say, look, I'll give you 2 weeks of free consulting. And if it's good for you, then maybe after 2 weeks we can work together and we can explore what that would look like. How does that sound? Hell yes. And then you'll get what you deserve. Because if you're no good, well, then they won't work with you. But if you change their world, if you impact them, if you really work hard and improve that person's life, they won't want to live without you. And then it's the easiest close in the world, because they suddenly say, hello, everyone, by the way. Then they all suddenly say, I can't not do this without you now. I remember that once early on, and I was like, this guy was working, and there's nothing wrong with it, of course, but he was working as a checkout desk guy in a supermarket. And like, we got him to, I think it was something like $1,200 of income in the first 2 weeks. And it was like, how can I not work with you anymore? And I was like, so let's look at what that looks like. And we just went. It was simple as that. But it all starts, even with cold traffic. Warm traffic, straightforward. They're like, I love your article. I love this stuff. It's great. Hey, let's get on a call then. Yes, please. But cold stuff, just be normal. Recognize this. This is your big takeaway as the leverage point to get the conversations going. You're using these things. You're on a social media platform first. Social first. And you know what, even LinkedIn now, I would class it as almost social first and business second. And it's because there's one truth in all sales, in all business, which is you require trust from that prospect. They need to feel comfortable around you. There's a sense of familiarity around the connection with you. They feel they can relate to you. You have to have the trust in order for them to say, you know what, I'm willing to get the wallet out and work with you. No world-class proposition, no wonderful sales technique will ever get you a sale unless that person trusts you. So a normal, kind of light-hearted, simple conversation, be a decent guy. This is the thing that makes that difference. All right, thumbs up if you agree. If you don't, I'm up for it. We'll go. We'll have a talk about it. But I genuinely have found this. I've come from a world where back in 2002, because my sales manager then was like brought up in the 90s, it was like a trading floor. It was get CEOs on the phone, ram the product down their throat, push. Why don't you want to buy it, and grill them? And I was doing $200 a day some days to make sure that we got a sale out of it. That was horrible, man. That was horrible. But when you start being decent, which is actually within all of us, just to be a decent guy and just simply listen and help rather than pitch, the irony is disgusting that by focusing on helping, giving, in the words of Wharton Professor Adam Grant, by giving first and helping that person out and giving them great advice and making them feel emotionally like hugely disproportionately in debt to you because you've helped them so much, is a better approach to some kind of traditional classic sales approach. I'm telling you now, as a sales coach to 8 and 9 figure businesses that I see every week, that is the thing that makes the difference. If you look at the big deals, like the biggest deal I've ever done was around 100,000 quid. So probably about, what was that, $130,000. And if I called that person the next day, they would have been like, Richard, how are you? Because there's a connection. And even the ones down to 5 quid that I did, a $5 deal on a tiny entry level beta test on a course, it's still that connection. that wins. So it's focus on volume, 20 a day. Even if you don't feel you've got time, and a tip, by the way, you do, but even if you feel you haven't got time, I want you to try, okay, I'm looking at all questions over here as well. I want you to try even at least 5 people per day. If you did 5 from a group, mutual friends that are relevant to your space, right? You did 5, you start, hey, how's it going? Loved the post on this. Saw we had some mutual friends. How are you? Oh, you're in this group as well. Brilliant. How's your week going? It's great, thanks. Or nothing for 4 of them. Or maybe across 7. Hey, AJ, thanks for the wave. For maybe 7 days. 5 a day, 35. Maybe 1 says, hey, I'm good, thank you. And you have a conversation. Across a month, that's 140 people in a 4-week month. You can't miss. You'll eventually get some people like having conversations because most people are nice. If you do anything that comes across as dodgy or as salesy or that, and this is it, anything that comes across like you're trying to game that person, it's over. It may not appear to be over, they may still engage, but you're planting the seed that you have an agenda focused on gain from them rather than just helping, okay? So what you do is you earn the right to ask, and that comes from giving the value first through that process, that conversation, help. There's the 3 types of people. The experts, they'll be cool. They won't really need the advice. The peers might respect you and have a good conversation, but it's the people lower down that are like, shit, I really needed that bit of advice. Thank you so much. That really helps me. They're the people you go help. Relatively speaking, you're now an expert. And when they see you as an expert, they will compliment you back. Heap on a bit more value. If you're nervous, go for that second compliment. Richard, this has been crazy. In the last 10 minutes, you completely changed my view of things. I never thought about it that way. I'm going to take action right now. You know, and then I would be typing. I've earned it, right? I've earned the ask. I've earned the right hook, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say. I've earned the position of being able to take finally, which is still giving value actually, which is, hey, well, why don't we talk a bit more? I'm convinced, I know I can help you with this. I've been doing it for a while. Why don't we talk? Are you free now? Yes. Press the phone button. Let's go on a call. Or you're scared? So press the phone button before your brain can engage. Suddenly it's ringing and now they've picked up. You're in. You've got to start. That's how you, by the way, that's how you overcome the fear. You press the button before you can allow any time. You don't think, you press the button. Done. That's it. Okay, you go. It's like how I get out of bed in the morning. I get out of bed, then I think about how I feel about it. But I'm already out of bed. That's what you do, you jump. And now we're on a call, and now I can do my thing. And it may well mean I'm in a place where I can say, look, this has been great. I mean, you know, do you feel like this has been helpful? Yes, I do. Now make them an offer. Would you like to work with me a bit more time? And so on, okay? So let's have a look at some of the comments here. Motive Monsters, thank you so much. Lovely comment. I don't know, you're asking where have I been all this time? So cool, thanks very much. There's only 84 episodes so far, Motive Monsters. Where have you been, my man? That's or lady, that's the thing. But yeah, so every Monday at 1 p.m, okay, we are live on Instagram, but originally on Facebook and on YouTube as well. 1 p.m. GMT, so London time, which is 8 a.m. Eastern time if you're in the States. If you are interested in learning more, connect with me, of course, here on Instagram. You can look in my bio, you can see my links. And of course, there's Facebook/Richard Moore, MOORE.official, and you can see me there. But if you connect with me, send me a message. I'm interested in getting you guys all jump in on my premium group. We've got a group on Slack. It's a community, and we can all jump in together. There's about 75 people already that have just joined, and it's about a community where we share great ideas like this. At the very least, jump in. Let's connect with all of you. Has this been useful? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something if this has been valuable. I really would love to get your feedback. Let's have a look at what we have to say on Facebook. Daniel has said, I hate numbers, but this is a great application of the law of averages and large numbers. Yes, Daniel, you're right. If you're no good, you offset ability or experience with volume. It's as simple as that. My first ever professional sale as in my job in 2002 was when I was after my first week. So I started on the Monday, deal by Friday, and everyone was like, who's this guy? But it wasn't because I was any good. I hadn't got a business degree, right, or any sales background. I come out of university, I had 2 degrees in history. It's nothing to do with it at all. It was because I threw numbers at the problem, Daniel. So I was literally, you couldn't prize me from the phone. I was doing hundreds of dials every day. And as a result, we dragged the deal over the line on the Friday. People were like, wow, but it was work rate. That's what got me. Then over time, you get better. And like the guy I mentioned earlier that closes 1 in 3, he's just ridiculously good, but he's done his job for like 23 years or something stupid like that. That's the thing that makes a difference. So hopefully that helps. What about a non-profit? Everyone likes the paper champion and attracting people to the mission isn't difficult. How do you engage the benefactors to the organization versus beneficiaries? It's the same. It's the same, Daniel. Whether you're selling to someone or you're trying to get people to try and work with you, or even investors, for instance, you give them value. You talk about things that help them. If you can't give them direct value, you've got to think outside the box. What would help that person? Is it exposure, something like that? Get in there and help them on that level, okay? Something you'll be able to get offer that gives value. If it doesn't work, it's fine because you've got more every day. I didn't get anything out of these 20 new contacts today. Well, you got 2 alternatives. You give up or you do it again. Remember, I did this just under 2 months, right? That's over 1,000 conversations. It was bloody hard work. But in doing it, I couldn't miss. And when it came to launching my first course, 8-Step Startup in 2015, which is being repackaged and will be re-released soon, you know, I had them queuing up because I'd had those conversations. Just have a decent conversation, focus on them, relate, give value. When you get the compliment, that's your cue. When you get the second one, ask, and you're in. And that's how you do it. I want to hear from you guys. If you're trying this week, give me some war stories. Let me know how it goes. But there's no question it will help. You have to be willing to apply yourself. 20 a day is what worked for me. Maybe it's less for you. Maybe it's more. But if you are consistent, you can't lose. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a real pleasure. A real pleasure. DM me if you want more advice. Happy to help. Now it seems like I've got an agenda, right? But otherwise, have a great one. Instagram, I love you. Thank you very much. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you very much for listening in on the site. YouTube, Facebook, have a great day. All the best. See you all soon. And have a wicked Monday, whatever you're up to.